Hey guys, so yes, I ended up turbocharging the car. I'm recording two videos, one with my little 4K camera, but it's set to 2.7K. I just got this, I don't know if it's any good. But I'm going to be reaching out to you guys for some added information, tips, etc. This is my first M20 turbo build. I turbocharged my old M10 four-cylinder several years ago and drove it Mickey Mouse ghettoed turbocharged for about 7 years with no real issues, and I'm hoping to do the same with this one. Low boost initially, maybe 5 to 8 psi. Anything higher supposedly requires head studs. So give me some input if you've been there, done that before. As you can see, I removed the hood liner, and that'll basically just, well, I'm going to have to protect it somehow because of the extra heat. I've already noticed here you got some hot spots, but I took off the stock lining because because I didn't want it to get to start melting or catch fire if this thing does get too hot. Underhood temperatures or intake cooler temperatures are fairly decent while driving. When standing still, they do creep up, which is obviously normal, I think. So I'm basically looking for information from you guys, from people who've done this before. This was a rush job. I ordered all the parts. Links are in the description from the place that I ordered it from. Reputable guy works out of his house. Excuse me. He works out of his house and is a one-man business, basically. Some of you guys are probably familiar with him. I had to do a little bit of modifying with some of the stuff that didn't quite fit, but it's all right. I mean, it's meant for an E30. This is an E34, but as you can see, it still fits fairly good. The hardest part, which I didn't do, was fabricate the exhaust system. It's 3 inches from the turbo all the way back to the back. There's a catalytic converter, but there is no muffler, so this thing does sound fairly wicked. When cruising, it's not an overly raspy or deep tone, which is nice. Otherwise you start falling asleep, get drowsy. When you punch it, I haven't really punched it. I haven't even gone past half throttle yet. Quarter throttle, this thing already feels more powerful than the stock, obviously, because the extra air and the bigger injectors. I've got 60-pound injectors in it, which are well worth over 400, good for well over 400 horsepower. I think 26-pound injectors will get you to 300 already. Let me just go to the other side. I'm thinking about a hood scoop here. To suck in some, or to allow air to get in there, some cold air to cool the whole system. That's what I did on my old car. I cut some holes in here and I put a little scoop there, and then as the car was being driven, cold air was forced over the turbo to keep things cool. And so I might want to do the same thing on this thing. So let me know what you think in terms of hood scoops that might work well for a BMW. The E34. I was thinking about taking out the high beam and then just leaving it open, and then you get all this cold air coming through here. But if I were to go through a car wash, then you know, or any excess water on the air filter is no good. I don't really like this K&N air filter. I'm hoping to replace it with something else in the future, a cone paper style rather than a K&N. But let me know. Same with the ignition. Right now it's running off of the distributor. I'm going to be converting it to wasted spark ignition, and I'm going to have ignition coils over here, and then run the spark plug wires over there, and that'll free up a little bit of space over on this side. I have 2 oxygen sensors. One of them is for the Mega Squirt. The other one, I'm going to have a wideband. I already have a wideband meter or a gauge that I'm going to put on the dash, but I have to mount it still. I have to go through the firewall somewhere and then mount the gauge on the dash. So anyways, that's what I've been up to. I was off this last week, and it did all of this within that time frame. So it's a bit of a rush job, and it's running decent right now. Like I said, I haven't pushed it or anything like that, but I definitely think that it's a well worth undertaking for somebody who's thinking about turbocharging their E34. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll keep you guys posted.